Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. We put members first because we don't have shareholders. To find a local agent, visit Nationwide.com. Join the nation. Jackets tonight from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. The Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Sergei Bobrovsky, back-to-back starts for him. And I can only tell you that Bobrovsky a week ago, a little disappointed he was unable to start against these Flyers, but ready to go after starting against the Bruins last night. And at the opposite end, Steve Mason tagged with the loss last Friday night. He stopped 34 of 38 shots. The Jackets, though, prevailing 4-3 the final. Kyle Raymond, Brad Meyer, the referee, Steve Miller, Derek Nansen are the linesmen. Jackets wearing their traveling whites. The Flyers in their home jerseys. And it will be Anisimov and Giroux set for the opening faceoff. The Jackets, Jody, last night outstanding in that faceoff circle most of the night.
Yeah, they did a very good job at that first battle spot. Need to continue that here tonight, especially the first 10 minutes of this game.
That is one thing pointed out by Coach Todd Richards. The Jackets managed the first 10 minutes of this hockey game against a Flyer hockey club that have dropped 4 in a row, 2 straight on home ice. Voracek sweeps in. It gets away from Bobrovsky, picked up by Dalton Prout. And Prout, as we mentioned, likely to be matched up against this top line along with Jack Johnson most of the night. And again, his game has been elevated, much to the satisfaction of the coaching staff. Icing the call. How about tonight's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer?
Oh, let's take a look here, Jeff. Traffic down low. Get down here on Steve Mason. This team has lost 4 in a row. Get down there and get dirty. Weather the first 10. We just talked about that Philadelphia is trying to get in here and create some energy in their home building, and discipline and strong PK. They've been great in the PK, and they were disciplined last night. They got to continue that here in Philadelphia tonight.
Only one minor penalty assessed to the Jackets last night. Columbus looking to improve on the penalty killer. And certainly the key way to do that is to continue to win faceoffs. And the discipline, as Jody points out. Schultz, one-time Blue Jacket. On for Coburn, right back to Schultz. Flyers going with 7 defensemen. Delzato returning to the lineup tonight, injured against the Rangers. He did not play against Minnesota in a 3-2 loss Thursday, as the Wild scored in the final minute of play here in Philadelphia for the 3-2 victory. Jackets deep in the zone. There's Couturier on for Coburn. Pressure coming from Foligno. Foligno continues to work alongside Ryan Johansson and Boone Jenner, but on the left wing of that line, and the chemistry was instant last night.
Yeah, these guys worked well together. I mean, we talked about Boone getting in there and dragging guys into the fight. But, you know, Ryan Johansson with that block shot and then getting rewarded with the goal, that was a nice start for him.
Gilly with a wraparound at top. And the puck sails up the left wing boards. That's R.J. Umberger. Poke checked away by Wisniewski. Offside the call. And that'll give us an opportunity to check out the Chief, as he's affectionately called by his friends. Of course, we're speaking head coach Greg Berube.
Yeah, he's a real, he was a warrior when he played, and he wants to get his guys back on track here. They love playing for him. He's that heart and soul guy, but right now they're not getting the wins.
Speaking of heart and soul guys, one of the questions Berube asked me was about Scott Hartnell and how he has fit in on the hockey club. And certainly, I can tell you Berube has a lot of respect for Hartnell. And tonight, specifically, after all the emotion of last week, Hartnell just happy to come in as an opposing player tonight, Jody.
Yeah, he got that last week behind him. And, yeah, the different walk into the rink tonight for him.
Skilly sends it out to center. Pressure him. Matt Calvert playing his second game since coming back from injury. Sweeps in. The Jackets to keep those shifts short. And the Flyers look to come out of their own end as the Jackets get fresh legs on. Up the middle. Belmar, there's a shot by Simmons, juggled and held by Bobrovsky. Well, let's check out tonight's Elk and Elk injury report. Jackets looking at still 6 players remain out, but the word is Ryan Murray continues to improve, as does Dubinsky, and no firm date, Jody, on when they might return, but the Jackets starting to get healthy. Of course, Matt Calvert for Skilly coming back prior to last night's game.
Yeah, and that would really help. It allowed Todd to put some speed on all lines, including this line that's out there now with Brian Gibbons, Cracknell, and Jared Boll.
Shot for the right wing boards, and it's into the net. Bobrovsky never saw it. And Jake Voracek, from almost in front of the Columbus bench, beats Bobrovsky.
That puck was almost like it had eyes. Watch the puck as it goes back here. Jake just throws it. Jack tries to play it off his skate.
It changed direction, and Bobrovsky did not see it until it got by him. It went off the goal post and into the net.
Yeah, it hit that far post. A lot of traffic in front there on Sergei, too. Just have to shake that one off here and get back to getting down the offensive zone for the Blue Jackets.
So the Jackets in a hole here early. They carry the puck deep in the zone. Scott Hartnell, Artem Anisimov, and Cam Atkinson up front. Bouncing puck, kick to center. Dumped in along the left wing board. So Jake Voracek, who leads the National Hockey League, picks up his 29th point, and there is Bobrovsky with the glove save.
Well, that was a weird bounce off the glass for that last opportunity. But then let's look at this again. There's a tip in front. And let's watch this angle as it goes back. It'll come back to Jake Voracek, who just throws it. And it goes off that grouping. And look at that. I mean, that hits the post. Didn't go in until it hit the far post. Great view there by our guys in the truck.
They're giving credit for that goal to Braden Shen, with Voracek and Coburn drawing the assists. It did look like it went off.
It definitely changed directions in that group of 2 Blue Jackets and Braden Shen.
Here's Simmons. The stop made by Bobrovsky, and as advertised, a quick start here for the Flyers. I thought it went off Jack Johnson. Nonetheless, it's a 1-0 Flyers lead, and Bobrovsky having to come up with a couple of big saves after that first goal of the hockey game. There's Reed. Head up, looks to the right wing boards for Simmons. Simmons last week in here was on that top line with Voracek and Giroux. Now out there with Couturier and Reed.
They had him a right-handed shot playing the left wing. He wasn't too comfortable there.
Ooh. High sticking penalty upcoming here as Wisniewski let one fly. And they were checking on Wisniewski here now for the penalty upcoming. They're calling it hooking on Reed.
Good play here by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Definitely a hook. You saw James Wisniewski kind of flick his head back like he took a stick to the face, but it was definitely a hook. I like to see James up there in the play like that, too. When a defenseman joins the rush, the forwards usually cover up, but it's a good sign.
He was there last week, scored a couple of power play goals here in Philadelphia.
That's right. One was right down from the goal line. That was on a 5-on-3.
Wisniewski drops it back. Here's Atkinson stepping up across the line. Toss back to the point. Jackets rim it around the wall, and Jack Johnson will play it here at the right point. Off Boone Jenner. Stepping up is Anisimov. Bouncing puck, Anisimov continues as Jenner sends it back here to Jack Johnson off the wall. Johnson with his first goal of the season last night to tie it at 3. Anisimov, the no-look pass to Wisniewski. Jack Johnson lets one fly. Wisniewski, cross ice, Jenner, he shoots and scores. Oh, that one looked like it went in the net. It was waved off. The Jackets feel they've scored. The official waved it off. That looked like it went right off the back of the net.
Well, that was a strange play because the referee waved it off. There's no whistle, but everyone, all 9 guys on the ice stopped playing. And the ref did finally blow the whistle. Watch this. Great pass by James Wisniewski. Boone Jenner, you saw the net shake there
back
a little
of the
bit.
net, absolutely. And the referee that was right there waved it off.
Watch Jenner. He's going to come in your picture right here on the right of your screen. And that...
Well, here's the definitive look right now. Look at the overhead here. No doubt about it. Right into the back of the net. We saw it from up here. How could the referee not see it? It's under review.
It's funny that Boone Jenner just stopped playing there because, you know, usually the shooter knows where it went. He stopped immediately, and all the guys on the ice. I thought that was very interesting because no whistle. But I guess everyone knew except the ref, and here comes the call.
After reviewing the play, the puck hit the back bar. We have a good goal on the ice.
No. Flyer fans boo.
That's a heavy shot, I'll tell you.
But our Jacket backers and a good group of Blue Jacket fans have made their way here to Philadelphia. They were on their feet. No question about this one. Jenner, the Jackets were celebrating instantly.
Look at Anisimov here. He's got a couple guys down there with him. That's a good play. When you have that net front presence, that's why that seam opens there for Wisniewski to make the pass to Jenner.
Now there's the resiliency the Jackets have displayed here in the past. And they come through big time here with Boone Jenner on the power play. And again, the Jackets with 3 power play goals against the Flyers last Friday night. And they have picked up where they left off. They went 3 for 4. And twice here in recent games, the Jackets have found the back of the net on the power play for 3 goals. Dumped wide of the net. And it's certainly taken the wind out of the sails of the crowd here. Brayden Schenn, who gets credit for the goal. Delzato, Voracek. Oh, the stop there by Bobrovsky. And it's swept back by the defender into the paraphernalia of Bobrovsky, and he'll hold on.
Well, that's Matt Calvert. Had the puck on his stick and just kind of pushed it back to Sergei to take the whistle. He's going off the ice. But quick little play to the middle. Voracek to the backhand. Watch this little play here by Calvert. He's like, gives it back to Sergei. Nice save.
Boone Jenner from James Wisniewski and Jack Johnson at 4:36. 1-1 is the score. 5 minutes plus gone in this opening period. Off the wall, it gets away from Schultz. Coburn hustles back, puck rolling on in. Coburn on to Schultz. Schultz steps to the line, looks for the long lead pass there for Couturier. And dumped to the point there for Schultz. Ringed around the wall. Reed can't make the play. Dalton Trout does for the Jackets. Backhands it up the left wing boards. Cut off there by Couturier. Couturier pressure. Trout right there. Jack Johnson, or rather Ryan Johansson. Jack Johnson is on the defense there as the Jackets knock Simmons down and the crowd looking for a penalty to be called. Wisniewski, Johansson. Picked up here by R.J. Umberger on the right wing, top of the circle, sends it in towards the net, and it's redirected by Bobrovsky, and off into the corner. Jackets march up ice. Connaughton looking. Umberger from his knees gets it ahead, and chopped up the left wing boards where Wisniewski will step in front of LeCavalier. Artem Anisimov right there, offside, Atkinson. And the Jackets celebrate. Somewhat belatedly as far as the officials are concerned, but it is a goal. Boone Jenner finds the back of the net.
We're back in Philadelphia with a 1-1 hockey game right now on FoxSportsOhio.com. The Blue Jackets are rocking their best mustaches. Well, some good, some not so good for Movember. What's up with the Cavs, and what record could the Buckeyes be taking from that team up north? Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports brought to you by 1-800-SafeAuto.com.
Take a look at these two guys that are lined up next to each other. Bull and Ronaldo having this little conversation here.
They're going to go. Boy, you picked that one out, Jody.
Well, you can kind of feel it. Now they got to lock horns again. That's never fun. It's usually fun to get in there and lock it and go, but
what's Ronaldo waiting for? To go down like that?
well, they were just kind of feeling each other out, and it was funny. Todd Richards got asked today. It's been a while since Jared Bowles had a fight.
Over a month.
And there's one now, but you know, he hasn't had to. He's had a good presence. He's been trying to get on the forecheck. He's going to go down in the hallway and get his jerseys sewed up. But there they are, a little chat during the TV timeout. They knew they were going to get into it. 1-1 hockey game. You know, when you don't fight for a while, sometimes it's good to get in here and have one. So, but like I said, Jared is, you know, he's got that presence already in the league, so there hasn't been a lot of opportunity. And good to see him get involved here tonight.
Kind of humorous that it happens on the night that we listen to Coach Richards being asked, as you point out, Bull hasn't fought for over a month. Is that something that's been planned, or is he being told to stay away? And absolutely not. As you say,
maybe he listened.
The opportunity hasn't been presented. Well, you mean Bull maybe was listening in to the conversation? I think he had better things to do than listen to the media scrum.
They used to come into Philadelphia, and there was no choice.
That is true, but they are not. Another penalty upcoming here to the Flyers. Connaughton lets one fly, and that one deflected. Played by Gibbons. Jackets showing patience here. Connaughton got a pretty good shot. Jack Skilly, and it's touched up there by the Flyers, and another hooking penalty going to be assessed to Philadelphia. And the crowd here, they're getting on the officials in a hurry.
Well, I like to hear that. When you come into this building in Philadelphia, that's part of the game plan. Turn these fans on their players. You know, and here it's early in the game, and they've already given up a goal on a power play. Now they're back in the box.
Simmons goes off for hooking.
Right there, yeah, he just gets the stick up. Knocks Jack Skilly's hand off his stick.
7:20 the time of the penalty. Jackets 1 for 1 on the power play. And are 4 for 5 in the season series. James Wisniewski with a couple of those goals. Here's Artem Anisimov, able to send it in. Boone Jenner, who has his first goal and first power play tally, out there right now. And takes it along that half board. Cam Atkinson brings it around the wall. Jack Johnson, who tonight with an assist picks up his 199th career point. Puck played by Atkinson. Atkinson to Anisimov up high. A minute 24 left in the power play. Wisniewski, far side for Jack Johnson. Jackets very patient here and deliberate. Camped in front is Boone Jenner. Up high, Anisimov. Wisniewski lets one fly, and it ricochets off a leg and wide. Played by the Flyers to the point. Saved at the line. Good work there. But Giroux is able to send it back into Columbus territory. As a result, Flyers with 6 of the first 8 shots, but they trail 1-0. The Jackets on the power play. And it's Jack Johnson left wing for Hartler. Drop back here to Johansson. Ryan Johansson. Away from Lawton, young rookie. Impressive since his recall, and there's talk he could be here for quite some time. Came in as an injury replacement in the lineup again here tonight.
You're right. Ron Hextall is the guy that is not quick to bring the guys up from the minors, and they say that Lawton's the guy that could stay.
Former Oshawa General, same club that Boone Jenner played for. Connaughton with a shot. That's deflected. Hesitated. And that enabled Lawton to get a stick on it.
Young Cole Castles also played both these two.
Product of the Columbus Minor Hockey Association.
Right.
And the son of Andrew Castle, Blue Jackets alumni. Here's Johansson. Johansson drops it back. Savard lets one fly in front. The net is gaping wide open, but Foligno can't get to that puck. Flyers do a good job collapsing. Mason was out of the play, but the Jackets unable to pull the trigger. 2 shots on that power play for the Jackets. A quick attempt there, sent wide. Reed. Correction, that's 2 shots on the Jackets' 2 power plays. They did not register an official shot on this one. So they're 1 for 2 as we approach the midway point of this opening period, tied at 1. If you joined us late, Flyers first on the board. And less than 2 minutes later, Boone Jenner on the power play to tie it up. Dalton Trout holds off Belmore. Bouncing puck sent wide of the net. Jack Johnson is on it away from R.J. Umberger. A clearing pass knocked down by Strike. Kept in the zone. Sent in front. Jackets backhanded up high. Toss behind the net. There's LeCavalier throwing it in front off the pad of Bobrovsky from point-blank range, and the Jackets quick to sweep it away.
Good job by Dalton Prout there. He saw the rebound in front of Sergei. Quickly played it to the corner. They settle things down.
Stepping up. Braden Shen, but the puck got away from him as the Jackets defend. Here's Artem Anisimov. With that long reach, fights off the check there of Giroux. Reaching for it. Gibbons going behind the net and played by Adam Cracknell. Cracknell off the wall for Savard. Wrist shot knocked down by Gibbons, who's still looking for his first goal. And Mason makes a key stop on that deflection by Gibbons in front.
Gibbons right in front of the net. We've seen him there quite a bit. And he almost knocked one in there, Jeff. That was going. The puck was headed to the corner, and he tapped it back towards the goalie.
Good stop by Mason. 8:55 left. Anisimov up high. Leopold tried to throw it towards the net. Braden Shen now first on to Voracek. Jake Voracek drops it for Giroux. The trailer there was Delzato. Flyers pick up the loose puck in Jackets territory. Shen on for Giroux. Behind the net for Jake Voracek, looking to walk out and tuck it home. The Jackets defend, and walking down the right side and out of the zone was Gibbons.
Gibbons down there in the low position. He's playing the right wing point in defense, and he's in that perfect position to intercept that pass through the zone.
Left wing feed for Simmons. Right-handed shot comes down the off wing, fires wide of the net. Reed hustles after it, played up high here by Coburn. Coburn trying to float one in. The Jackets block it. There's a break. Atkinson with Hartnell. Moves into Hartnell, who tipped it wide. And going crashing into the net to knock it off its moorings. None other there than Braden Coburn. 8:03 left. The Blue Jackets and the Flyers here in Philadelphia tied, and Simmons with a hit there on Johansson.
1-1 between the Flyers and the Blue Jackets here in Philadelphia. Look at all those Blue Jackets sweaters here at the Wells Fargo Center. How would you like to join the Blue Jackets in Florida for a game against the Lightning this January? Well, text tonight's keyword RINK to 37664 and you'd be entered to win a trip to Tampa, including accommodations at the Swan and Dolphin Resort in Orlando. Again, tonight's keyword is RINK.
You mentioned that the Flyers are playing 7D tonight. That means they're going with 11 forwards, and you got Giroux out here with Zach Ronaldo on the fourth line with Bellemare. That's the thing when you have three centers. You're going to rotate them through.
7 defensemen. Craig Berube talking this morning, and again, when we had a chance to visit with them, that it's the first time this season they've had all their defensemen healthy.
Well, there's 3 guys here that weren't in last week when we were here. 2 for sure. Luke Schenn and McDonald were not in the lineup. Streit,
He was playing.
So they got 2 regulars back.
They came back for the first time on Thursday night against Minnesota. Their first game back after missing due to injury.
Columbus should get down there and take advantage. They're not playing with partners. There's a lot of rotation down there. Get down there and take advantage of a little uncertainty in the defensive zone by the 7 defensemen and a couple guys just back.
Their 8th defenseman is Koliakovo, who they signed after the start of the season. He is healthy. He's a healthy scratcher tonight. Coburn able to send it by Savard deep in the zone. Leopold draped all over Couturier. Loose puck in the corner, albeit briefly. Couturier reaching for it. Jackets defend below the goal line. Savard able to sweep it free. Up along the right wing board. Jackets clear out of the zone before it's hammered right back in. Flyers content right now, Jody, on just dumping it in.
Well, they just seem to try to get it out of their zone, and you're right, there's not a lot of speed coming through the neutral zone for Philadelphia. Getting a little stymied at the blue line.
Foligno takes a hip check there from Delzato. Jenner off the bench to Naughton. Brings it around the wall. Picked up here by Anisimov. Artem Anisimov into the slot. Foligno! He let one fly. It was blocked in front. Wisniewski, cross ice, Connaughton, who can let it fly, and it's blocked in front of Mason. Wisniewski lets one go. Saved by Mason, picked up there by Lawton, and backhanded to center ice.
Boy, there's been a few blocked shots, but hard for the Blue Jackets to get it through, and there's 5 guys in front of Mason. They just collapse when the puck is at the point. Not a lot of pressure on the defenseman for the Blue Jackets, and you saw James Wisniewski, that last shot, he crept in quite a ways there.
Adam Cracknell keeps the feet moving. The puck got away from him and actually went off the official. On a turnover, Gibbons with a shot that's deflected. Mason, no idea, but it went off the netting and out of play. 5:27 left in this opening period. The Jackets on the road, and they're playing a strong road game here in the first.
Game here in Philadelphia, Craig Hartsburg. It looks like there are a lot of opportunities being created out there in this first period so far.
Well, recently I think we started to skate a little bit. I thought early we're standing around too much, and this is a good skating team here in Philadelphia, but we've turned some pucks over here the last few shifts.
You're seeing a lot of carryover from last night's energy and jump that you brought back at home?
Well, like I say, recently, last maybe 5-6 minutes. Early in the game, I thought we didn't have it, but we seem to be getting it back now.
Tell you what, Jody, he doesn't mince his words. He just tells you exactly what's on his mind.
I love that interview because he doesn't. I mean, you hear he's got the displeasure down there. Not totally excited about the start, but recently.
Walking in, save Bobrovsky, rebound, scores.
And you go back to Craig Hartsburg's interview. He mentioned how good of a skating team the Philadelphia Flyers are. And there is a great example of speed. And you'll see Mark Streit here. This is as they come in the zone. It's not the initial shot, it's the rebound. And that's the defenseman. Mark Streit, he got right up on the play. That's not a defensive position, but from that, being able to skate that well, he's up there on the play. And that was too easy entry into the zone for the Philadelphia Flyers on the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Jackets show that resiliency. Less than 2 minutes after the Flyers open the scoring. 4:53 left here. In this opening period, Flyers gets a second lead in the first 20 minutes. Jenner wins a battle below the line, taking it away from Coburn. Jenner keeps the feet moving. Jenner protecting that puck. Hit along the wall, some help there from Foligno. Johansson currently not out there in Isimov. Out there with Foligno and Jenner. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time. Later in tonight's contest, it's brought to you by Miller Lite.
You were just talking about this guy, Artem Anisimov. Nice to have him back on the lineup. Just settles things down. And I spoke with a couple of defensemen, and they appreciate having him in the defensive zone. Not for the physicality in the corners, but the positional play of being there for an outlet in the middle of the ice for them. He's very smart, he's very aware, and he supports those puck battles down low very well.
Flyers win another draw. Lawton over Adam Crackman. Backhanded in by R.J. Umberger, who had some work done on the bench here earlier on in this period. Working on his left hand. Doesn't miss a shift. And it's James Wisniewski, cross ice. Connaughton trying to hit Adam Crackman with the offensive blue line. Crackman fighting off Delzato, who takes a little extra shot. And Liberty, the official, was looking. No penalty call. Bouncing puck. Moved by Connaughton. And the puck squirts free and played. Back for Wisniewski as the Jackets change up.
Yeah, that puck was on the wall, and it went back to Connaughton. It just deflected off the stick into the middle. Luckily, Cracknell was there to clean it up and regroup here. But here come the Flyers.
Giroux with a quick shot. He disguised that shot. Then got that low drive, the pad save of Bobrovsky. Up on the wing. Quick shot. Saved by Mason. Rebound. Mason tried to cover up. Unable to do so. Coburn head up. Looks to the right wing boards for Jake Voracek. Greg Berube giving his line all kinds of ice time. Strike with the goal. Giroux and Grossman draw the assist at 14:55. And for Giroux, that is his 400th career point. 400 points in the National Hockey League for Claude Giroux. And he's poised and ready for the shot top of the circle. But hanging on is Schenn. Hartnell on here for Skilly. Ryan Johansson looking at a different line here now with Hartnell and Skilly. Johansson heads off to the bench. And again, as we went to break here a few minutes ago, you may recall the hit by Simmons on Johansson. And I wonder, Jody, if perhaps maybe he was shook up a little bit.
Well, he was adjusting his helmet a little bit.
Of course, Ryan Johansson, injuring a knee a couple of games back, did not miss a shift or a game for that matter. And he looked like perhaps being in the doubtful category the next night. Flyers from center dump in, Grossman wide. Going to be a lot of attention on Ryan Johansson. It comes with the territory.
That's
and
right.
Step up as a player.
That's a good point. You know, the league notices, especially not just how he's playing, but he did hold out. I mean, the league watched that closely for a while. And now he's back. He's playing against the top defenseman every night. And, of course, he'll gain some attention.
Connaughton drops it back for Wisniewski. 1:40 left. Left wing feed for Foligno. Anisimov continues to play here with Jenner and Foligno. Save Mason. Delzato all over Artem Anisimov.
Well, there's going to be a penalty down low right in front of the ref.
It's Delzato again.
And he got the full rope around him there. Hog-tied him, and the ref made that was an easy call
number
for him.
15. 2 minutes holding.
Holding on Jenner. And the Jackets go to the power play for the third time in this opening period of play.
Man, you see it right here at the top of your screen. Jenner feels that stick between his legs. He keeps moving. And the next thing, you know, you see him keep moving his legs there. Smart play by Boone Jenner. Michael Delzato looked like he couldn't believe that he was going to get a penalty. But anyways, Jackets on the power play here. There's Ryan Johansson. He's out there with Scott Hartnell and Nick Foligno now.
Jackets 1 for 2. 2 shots in their previous 2 power play attempts. Jack Johnson. Set up. Boone Jenner power play goal. Wisniewski drops it back to Johansson. Puts it backhand. Scott Hartnell. Wisniewski lets one fly. Hartnell looked for the redirect in front of the net, but it never got there. It was blocked by the Flyers defenseman. Less than a minute to go. Wisniewski on here to Johansson. Hartnell continues to set the screen right there on the edge of the blue paint. Shot by Jack Johnson. Mason juggles it off the shoulder into the glove, and he'll hold on.
And that's a good play. I like watching James Wisniewski now. I mean, we all know he's got a big shot. But I almost feel like he's got that pass-first mentality in a lot of these situations. He's got a heavy shot, but he's been so effective. Watch, he's got his head up there, and he's looking for Hartnell, waiting for him to get there in front of the net before just throwing it in there and giving Steve Mason a clean look at the puck. Waits for the timing to be right so that there could possibly be a screen. Good heads-up play by James Wisniewski.
Lawton pressuring Jack Johnson up high. Cam Atkinson walking into the zone, well into the final minute of play. Luke Chen will sweep it up the far boards and back into Columbus territory. 30 seconds left in the power play. Or, excuse me, in the period. Now, less than a minute in the power play. Here's Wisniewski. On for Anisimov, the quick shot. Rebound left in front. Down is Mason, and he covers up with the blue paint.
Boy, Steve Mason, he got some help there in front of the net. He couldn't find the puck. But watch this. A couple things go right here for the Blue Jackets. That puck bounces perfectly over the Philadelphia Flyers stick, and here they come. Good attempt on net. He couldn't reach it. Second attempt, and the puck is still there until the defenseman puts it right against Mason's pad and pretty much tells him it's right there. And then he covers it up, grabs it with his blocker.
Final seconds ticking out here in the opening period. Giroux will flip a backhand into Jackets territory. Jack Johnson back to scoop it up. Ryan Johansson broken up there by Couturier. Jackets will have 32 seconds of power play time on the Delzato call in the opening minute of period number 2. Strike with the go-ahead goal. Jenner for the Jackets. And right now, Schenn credited with the first of the 2 Flyer goals. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. And by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. Teams have returned to the ice. Seconds away from the start of the second period. The Jackets will continue on the power play for seconds. And our IGS Energy performers, Brayden Schenn, Boone Jenner, and Claude Giroux, who picked up his 400th career point, as we mentioned, with the assist tonight on the go-ahead goal by Stripe. And speaking of Claude Giroux, Jody, take a look at this. I've highlighted Giroux's line here. And as you see, 1 assist. He is a +2, 7:38 time on ice. The only player that's played, the only skater that's played longer than Giroux is our own James Wisniewski with 8 minutes and 23 seconds.
That's right.
But how about the faceoffs?
That's incredible.
10-0.
10-0, and the Columbus Blue Jackets have got to identify that, and winning a faceoff isn't one-on-one. When a guy is that hot, you got to lock him up and get your wingers to come in and help. Go for the tie. And you see him getting a pat on the back there by
Ian LaPerriere.
Yeah. And you talk about his ice time. When you go with 7 defensemen, those centermen are going to be rotated, and Claude Giroux, if you can spread them around a little bit, Craig Berube knows what he brings to each line. So, hey, if I'm on the 4th line and I get to play with Claude Giroux, I am pretty excited. I'm sure Zach Rinaldo is very excited to have that centerman.
Which begs the question, when you were on the 4th line here in Philadelphia, did you ever get to play with Giroux?
I think I might have. I don't recall.
That's a distant memory.
Short shift. Yeah.
That's a distant memory. Less than 30 seconds left of the Jackets' power play. Jack Johnson carries to center. Drops it back. Atkinson coming late. On the wing here. Atkinson sweeps it behind the net, and Isimov sends it between James Wisniewski and Jack Johnson. The Jackets will have to recover the puck in their own zone here in the final seconds of the penalty to Del Zotto for holding. Artem Anisimov. Del Zotto steps out. And the Flyers are 2 for 3 on the kill.
Artem Anisimov there. He's at the beginning of that entry. Tried to hook the puck back to the defenseman. Just couldn't connect with Wisniewski, and that really killed the rest of that power play for the Blue Jackets. Had to go down the ice, break back out, and here they are now trying to enter again, but offside. Outside of their offensive zone blue line.
Johansson and Giroux set for the draw. Puck will be dropped by Derek Nansen. Not happy with the face-off.
They're going to redo it.
They'll do it again. Don't get it right, do it again. Hartnell and Voracek fence, former line mates. And Johansson wins the face-off from Giroux.
There you go.
Won't be a perfect evening tonight.
No, that's good. And they're calling offside here again. Johansson's been getting it bumped quite a bit. You see him in here now. Just having a friendly conversation, but
just prior to the puck drop and the draw won by Johansson, Voracek kind of came right into Johansson, and Johansson pushed him away. And there's certainly a lot of discussion going on.
Well, they're old buddies, there's kind of that camaraderie a little bit, but when the puck's on the ice, it's all go, but sometimes you have that little bit of chatter. No, he's got a bump for his space, too, and you see guys try to take runs at him, but Ryan, we've seen him lay guys out also.
Simmons sweeps it into the zone. Couturier trailing. Jackets look to defend below that goal line. It's played on the right wing, flipped up and out of the zone. Bouncing puck, Jake Voracek. Comes back into the defensive zone. Here, the puck played by Foligno rolls off his stick, and it'll be Reed. Reed for Simmons. Across the line. Couturier, the shot. Bobrovsky right there. The top of the paint and makes the stop, and there's no further play.
And he gets a tap from Jordan Leopold. That's not an easy save. There's a little bit of a couple layers in front of him here. And it's a quick play at the net, but you see there's a couple guys that's got to go through. Sergei, like you said, top of the paint, no rebound.
Jody, you talked in the opening period about the fact that they're going with 11 forwards here, and they just keep doubling up on that Giroux line. He's up there again with Braden Shen and Voracek. They're almost getting double shifted.
Well, there's been a lot of whistles to start this period, too. Kind of an advantage. You can keep that line on and off. They've changed very quickly a couple times here early. They want to get the matchup they want. Right now, it's Lindbergh's line out against them with Calvert and Skilly. A lot of speed on this line. You'd like to see them get it out and work that Voracek-Giroux line down in their own end.
Braden Shen for Voracek. Puck gets by him up on the left wing. Matt Calvert. Calvert will flip it up and out. Schenn knocks it down. It wasn't with the high stick, so play allowed to continue. And we get a whistle with 18:01 left.
It's our home at Nationwide Arena on Tuesday, November 25th, to face off against the Winnipeg Jets, and then again on Friday the 28th against the Vancouver Canucks. Puck drop 7 o'clock for both games. Get your tickets now at BlueJackets.com.
You know, there's been probably 6 whistles here to start this 2 minutes of the second period, and I like how that sets up for the Blue Jackets. They're not here to put on a show. Play that choppy game. Let the crowd get antsy, and the Philadelphia Flyers to get a little bit little antsy. Another whistle here.
Isn't that something that Coach Todd Richards told us prior to the game? Slow the game down.
Yeah.
Get whistles.
Yeah, why not? And, you know, Berube's tactic is to get that Giroux line out all the time. But these whistles, there's other guys on that bench waiting it out that haven't seen the ice yet in this period. Where Todd here has his 4th line out.
2 minutes, 10 seconds into the second. Connauton. Hit there by Lawton. Connauton taking a little bit of exception, goes back. At the young Flyer forward, a former first-round pick here of Philadelphia. Up along the wall, Adam Cracknell squeezed out along the boards there. Jackets backing it up. And Connauton will have to race back into the zone.
Talk about Scotty Lawton. Sorry, Jeff. He lived with Scott Hartnell his first year here. He played some games right out of camp, and his roommate was Scott Hartnell out in New Jersey, out in the suburbs. Scott Hartnell said great things about him. Just a great kid. And talking to some players and some people around here now, he's taken some big steps. Gained a lot of maturity in the last year and a half, and that's why you said could have a chance to play here with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Now, certainly Craig Berube feels he can. You mentioned Ron Hextall wanting to keep those kids in the minors, and the word is that if he continues to play at the level he has since his recall, and he says he's more prepared to play in the NHL now than he was as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, it's amazing what you learn, especially in the minors. You learn a lot of the details, and you really appreciate your time up here in the National Hockey League.
You saying he didn't learn anything from Scott Hartnell?
I'm sure he did. All good. How to cook.
All good. Up along the board. Played in the corner. Off the side of the net. Jake Voracek. Voracek looking for some open space. Voracek steps out. Cross-ice pass. It was Grossman pinching in off the point, but the pass was behind him. And the aforementioned Scott Hartnell sends it into Philadelphia territory.
And he's going to stay on the forecheck here. His line mates have changed. Now he's going to work his way off.
Jackets on the forecheck. Johansson knocking down the defender. There's a shot by Jack Johnson, and it sails wide. Reed looking for Simmons in front of the Columbus bench. He'll chip it off the dasher. Out to play it. Bobrovsky moves it around. It's played here by Johansson. Ryan Johansson tried to flip it to Jenner. Flyers gain the zone. Shot from the wing. Fought off there. The catching mitt of Bobrovsky.
Yeah, it looked like Sergei tried to grab it. Just missed it maybe. And the puck bounced down toward his pad. Created other trouble.
Do you think that extra padding on the catching mitt may be bothering him just a little bit?
Well, what about
protecting him, but on the same time also making it a little awkward?
Well, it's got to be sore too. You know, I mean, we don't know what he's going through with that finger injury, so it's got to be a little different for him to make those routine saves. And yeah, like you say, it's probably a little bit bulkier, Jeff.
There's a shot by Coburn, deflected wide of the net. Approaching the 5-minute mark. Couturier with a high stick there on Jenner. Brayden Schenn. Muscle there by Johansson. Jack Skilly chips it off the board.
That was a good play by Ryan Johansson at the end of the shift, making sure he got a stick on that puck, got it out to neutral ice, and then let the press guys come out and take it. Now he's off.
Good work by Calvert. The puck rolled away off his stick, and the Flyers were able to clear. Wisniewski knocking the puck out of the air. Good hand-eye coordination. It was below the shoulders, so play allowed to continue. Here's Wenberg, first on the forecheck, and offside to call.
Let's take a look. We talked about Bob and his routine saves. Let's take a look at this shot. It's fluttering a little bit. He just kind of missed it. Yeah, that puck was fluttering. It might even been deflected off the stick. It's tough to tell from up here, but there's that glove. He's got that little extra padding there, it seems, to protect his hand. It's got to be a little different for a goalie. I mean, they wear a lot of equipment, but boy, they streamline it down to just precisely how they like it. They have that little bit of extra. probably affects him a little bit.
And they're creatures of habit. They don't want to change things.
That's right.
The fact of the matter is he needs that little extra protection coming back from the injury. And it takes a little while to get used to. Jackets break it up to Naughton. Keeping it away from Lawton. Connaughton down that right wing for Jared Bull. Bull. Right wide. On to Wisniewski. Jackets without a shot on goal in 6 minutes. In fact, 11 shots that are on the board are the 11 that they've had since the conclusion of period number 1. Not to say the Flyers have had a lot. Credited currently with 2 shots here. The shots are 11-11 in the opening period.
Good shot there from Cracknell. There was a little attempt earlier from Gibbons that actually hit Jared Bull. This line did a good job here this shift. I like Cracknell. He had a little patience before his last shot. And Mason made a good save.
The Jackets hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer.
Well, the Jackets got what they want. They're playing a road game here, and they've taken away the skating legs of the Flyers.
That's right. I like this. Now, they could be skating a little more themselves. You know, when the Blue Jackets are playing their best, they're flying through the neutral zone, and we've seen them turn back a couple times. So, but we'll take this. Choppy. The crowd is sitting down, waiting for something to happen. A lot of whistles. Takes all the flow out of the game.
Cross ice for Anisimov from Atkinson. In the corner, chip behind the net. Scott Hartnett sends it up high, fails to get it to the Jackets defender, and it goes all the way back to Sergei Bobrovsky, who will step behind the net. Puck turned over, Jackets recover. Moved by Leopold. Backhanded Jenner. Anisimov trying to settle that puck down. Played by Brady Shen. Delayed penalty upcoming. This one will be against Columbus. Out steps Mason. The long race to the bench. Sixth skater on. Voracek looking across ice. Jackets break it up. And for the first time tonight, the Flyers will go to the power play. The Flyers come in tonight. 4th best in power play efficiency. It's up next.
In Philadelphia, where we are about to see the Jackets penalty killers for the first time tonight. They're trailing 2-1. Hey, tonight on Fox Sports Live, a huge day in college football. One top 4 team got quite a scare, and another top 10 team saw its playoff chances disappear altogether. Troy Aikman previews Week 12 of the NFL season, and Lionel Messi reaches a major milestone in Europe. That's Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1.
And we talk about it being a choppy game here. The Blue Jackets got to execute. They're in the penalty box there, Jordan Leopold. But it started in the offensive zone. A missed pass. Hartnell tried to pass the defenseman, went all the way down the ice, and that defensive zone time led to that penalty from Leopold.
Oh, we talk about the Jackets scoring 3 power play goals last Friday night here in that 4-3 win. Flyers scored 2 power play goals, and the third scored by Del Zotto just as time expired in the Jackets penalty. And the Jackets looking at the 4th best power play. They're 25th on the kill. Need to be sharp here. Voracek, cross ice, one-timer. Bobrovsky moving laterally to make the stop.
He got over there quick. He knows Claude Giroux standing on that weak side waiting for that shot. He got over there and got that quickly.
Giroux again. Simmons camped in front. Spins, turns. Jack Johnson defending. Able just to send that wide. On here to Voracek. Up high. Strike. One-timer. No. Going back here to Strike. Voracek waiting. Near circle. They certainly look at the quarterback here. Giroux. Giroux. Simmons. Jackets. Wenberg up but not out. One-timer, and there is Bobrovsky with Simmons looking for the tip-in.
Yeah, Sergei was there waiting for that shot to come in. And they got some good weapons out here, the Philadelphia Flyers. That was an earlier chance by Giroux. Not really in the wheelhouse. This one was in the wheelhouse. He got all that. But look at Sergei. He's there early. He's ready. Voracek, top point getter in the league. Simmons, dangerous from the goal line. A few options, but Sergei knew the most dangerous was Giroux and stuck with him for those 2 big saves.
No doubt he is their go-to guy. And rising to the occasion there was Bobrovsky. Del Zotto. LeCavalier. LeCavalier back here for Del Zotto. Del Zotto. Long shot there by McDonald. Jackets block that. Attempt to clear. Tying up the Jackets stick. That was Johansson's. and he was unable to send it out of the zone. Approaching the midway point of the period, Johansson with the steal. Johansson walks out to center, spins and turns, killing some of that valuable time. Down to 10 seconds that remain in the Leopold penalty. James Wisniewski shorthanded across the line for Foligno. Foligno looking off McDonald. Stepping up. The Jackets see Leopold walk out of the penalty box. They're 1-for-1 on the kill. 3 shots on the just completed power play for Philadelphia.
Good job by Sergei Bobrovsky, but also the defenseman in front of him to clear and make sure he could see the shots coming in. David Savard in particular, nice job down in front of him.
And there's a reason they say your best penalty killer is got to be your goaltender, and certainly Bobrovsky was there, stopping 3 shots and then close. Scott Hartnell. Hartnell looks for Foligno on the right wing with Boone Jenner. Cross back in. And it's Jack Johnson looking to feed Dalton Prout. Prout fights off Ronaldo. Jack Johnson fighting off the Flyers. And Ronaldo comes in high on Jack Johnson. They're both going to go. Ronaldo goes back at yet another Jacket. This one, Boone Jenner. And he's definitely headed to the penalty box, but he'll take somebody along with him. 9:54 left.
Game here in Philadelphia. Brad Larson, looks like both teams are clamping down on one another. How does that benefit the Jackets?
Well, it's a tight game. We're on the road in 1-goal game. We just got to stick with it here.
How about the energy? You like what you're seeing so far in this period?
Yeah, it looked like we played last night a little bit, but we've had some spurts. There's a good kill first there. Now it's it's time to get on our horse, get on the forecheck.
That's some positive notes from the coach, and I like that. They did play last night. And Coach Brad Larson there acknowledging that there's some good things happening out there for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Down is Bobrovsky. He will hold on. During that TV timeout and just moments after the interview, Brad Larson went over to Coach Todd Richards, and they had a brief conversation. And then immediately, Brad Larson, who's doing a lot of coaching on the bench, started talking to Wenberg, and it may have been after Wenberg's last shift. But a lot of discussion going on.
Well, he was out there with the penalty kill, and now it's 4-on-4. So interesting with the 4-on-4 situation. Maybe you'll see him, but maybe it was that penalty kill, Jeff, because he was a part of that.
Off a skate, Bobrovsky ever alert, able to glove it.
Wisniewski there just tried to find a lane right in front of Sergei Bobrovsky, and as he did, he tried to pass to the corner. Luckily, Sergei was ready there. Caught that one.
Yeah, he did.
There's James head up. He sees something in the corner. He sees Connaughton down there.
Off Anisimov-ski.
It's all right.
Continue with your thought there on Wenberg.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, that's he's not out there yet. But I just thought, with that penalty kill, he did a good job. But there's always details in the penalty kill, and Brad Larson is in charge of that, so he probably had something he wanted to ask Todd and confirm, and then went to Wenberg just to make sure. A lot of communication down there on the bench.
Del Zotto in front. Voracek unable to get a stick on it. Giroux, who is the principal player whenever he is on the ice, and it's almost like they're looking for Giroux to feed him the puck. He is the general, without question. Even here 4-on-4 without a power play.
And that's where Voracek gets that extra bit of room, because so much focus on Giroux. Nice to have that second threat in Voracek on that same line.
This Blue Jackets hockey brought to you by Nationwide, the official sponsor of your Columbus Blue Jackets.
David Savard, boy, he's been a steady horse for this Columbus Blue Jackets team for the start of the year. This is the 20th game of the young season for the Blue Jackets. And he just came in, and he's very steady presence there on the blue line.
Coburn up on that left wing. Flyers clear the zone. Coincidental minors to Prout and Ronaldo. Thus the 4-on-4 play that continues here. With less than a minute remaining in their respective calls. Here's Gibbons. Still looking for that first goal as a Blue Jacket, but he's been around that net. You'd like to see him rewarded. Fights off the check, gets it here to Jack Johnson. Traffic in front. Gibbons trying to throw it into the slot there to Boone Jenner. Tied up by Schultz. Schultz off the wall. Belmar on for Coburn. Coburn out of the zone. Sends it back. 8 minutes, 16 seconds left. Second period. A scoreless second. 3 goals in this hockey game. 2 by the Flyers, 1 by the Jackets. All first period tallies. Jenner has the goal for the Jackets. Hangs on, fires a shot. He was looking far corner there.
Well, he had an opportunity there. He wound up to take the shot, but Delzato had to stick in the lane.
Look at Foligno walk to the net. And Delzato makes the defensive play. Wraparound attempt. It's in the blue paint. Mason having difficulty, and we've seen that several times here tonight, covering up that puck in the blue paint.
Yeah, that one was just out of his reach. It looked like it was close to him at first, but I think he might have poked it away from himself.
Jackets dump it in deep. This is Delzato. Moves it back at full strength. Reed off the wall. Picked up by Couturier at center. Moves in on Savard. Chips it by the Jackets defenseman from a sharp angle. Sends it off the side of the net. Johansson knocking down Couturier. Crowd looking for a penalty to be called. But a few minor officials in the crowd here tonight. Long shot, gloved, and held by Bobrovsky.
You mentioned Nick Foligno. We've talked about him a lot, but puck possession, he does the right things. And how about this? He takes that puck. He got a little assistance there in getting it right to the net, but there he is back in the screen. Very good with the puck all the time, but this was after the initial attempt at net. And you saw that puck, like you mentioned, Jeff, just out of the reach of Steve Mason. Columbus has got to get down there on those second opportunities and see if they can't put one past him.
Foligno had 2 goals here last week against the Flyers. One of them was a power play goal. He says he loves playing in this building. He's telling me that 11 goals, 14 points, in 21 career games. He says the crowd gets him in the game. You can understand why. And you know that better than anybody who's played in this building.
He likes to be the villain then.
Delayed call. Out comes Mason. Jackets touch up. And for the second consecutive time, it will be the Jackets having to kill a penalty with Savard heading off.
David Savard, you don't like to see him go to the box for while a penalty kill is taking place. He's a big part of that, but R.J. Umberger went down there. He was trying to play the puck, Savard was, so Claude Giroux out to take the face-off against Artem Anisimov.
13:02, the time of the tripping penalty. The Flyers had 3 shots on their previous power play this period. Strike onto the captain Giroux. Simmons throws it in front. Jack Johnson with the active stick. Giroux with an opportunity there, and he whistles it wide of the net. Ends up all the way back to neutral ice with Strike backing up into his own zone. Voracek coming back for the Flyers. Head up. Strike, whose goal right now is a difference in the game. Hits Voracek in full stride. Sends it purposely wide of the net. Simmons knocking over Jack Johnson. Plays it off the boards. Tosses around here for Giroux. Giroux, Flyer captain, observed. Back to Strike. Voracek in front. Redirected a couple of times. Simmons denied. Sergei Bobrovsky the stop, and he'll cover up in that blue paint. No further play.
Well, good job by Sergei to stand his ground on that one. That was a grade A opportunity for Wayne Simmons in close, and he is very good in close. You watch how this puck works around and ends up in front. Simmons alone. Good job on Bob. He keeps that glove low. He's in the butterfly position. He's down right there, but watch this. Wayne Simmons just tried to sneak that in. Strong play by Sergei Bobrovsky on that one.
He has been strong here in the second period. Jackets find the lane, dump it the length of the ice. One thing about that first power play unit of the Flyers, Jody, they have 4 players, 4 forwards, playing up, down low, and Strike the lone high man. That gives Jake Voracek an opportunity, the quarterback from the right side, and of course Giroux, who's the focal point on that left side.
That's right. You sound like a coach here, Jeff. You're breaking it down. I like it. Well, you're exactly right. That's a lot of options out there, and I forgot about Strike when we talked about the power play earlier.
Up high, there's a shot. Ricochets right back out of the stick of the Flyers' McDonald. In this case, they're using 2 defensemen there with McDonald and Delzato, who has it now. Very aggressive there was Gibbons on the kill. Thrown by McDonald back to the point. Delzato had pinched to the left side, and the Flyers will have to regroup, and they hear it from the crowd here with 22 seconds left.
And you talk to Delzato, he's very offensive as a defenseman, and he's
Another
got free
penalty
reign
coming.
to roam.
Another penalty, this one for slashing. The Jackets will be 2 men short for 16 seconds.
James Wisniewski's going to go off here for a slash. Zach Rinaldo gets the puck off the bench. Well, let's take a look at it. Good speed. Zach Rinaldo's got some pretty good speed. He's got James Wisniewski in a kind of a behind position, and he hacks him pretty good. Giroux's been talking to his line mates since he got on the ice here for the last 35 seconds. He had them all huddled up. He's got Voracek, Simmons, Schenn.
Voracek will take the draw. Looks for strike. Back here for Giroux. Down to 10 seconds of the two-man advantage. Voracek denied as Jack Johnson fell to a knee to block it. Johansson reversing. Anisimov, top of the circle. Staying stationary. Jackets get Savard back on. They're down a man. 1:40 left in the Wisniewski penalty. Flyers, far side. Giroux. Simmons waits at the goal line. Voracek moves into position. Fires a shot high. Simmons tries to send it home and does. Power play goal.
Well, we talked about discipline, and that was a couple penalties in a short period of time for the Blue Jackets, and that one cost them. Not on the 5-on-3. Savard got out and got settled. Columbus had two forwards, one defenseman for the 5-on-3. You see Savard come out. He's in the screen there. Jack makes a great play there to block the pass, but it goes up in the air. No one knows where it goes. Watch here. Pass comes through. Jack Johnson makes a little play. It was actually off the stick of Anisimov. It goes up in the air. And Wayne Simmons found it and quickly jammed it in the net.
That is his 8th goal of the season. 5 of the 8, Jody, have come on the power play. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left here. Jackets trail by 2. Savard fires off the blocker of Mason. Wenberg looking for Matt Calvert. With all the penalties in a 4-on-4 play, this line here has not seen a lot of ice time in the second.
There's a few guys that haven't.
Shot from a sharp angle. That one may have gone right off the goalpost, off the stick of Skilling.
I think it did, Jeff. That was a heck of a shot by Jack Skilling.
Hammered by Grossman. Umberger waits for it in the left wing. Wenberg steps up. Can't get a stick on it. Ronaldo gets it ahead. Across the line. That's Lawton. Fires his shot. Off the stick. Up into the glove of Bobrovsky. And he will hold on. 3:44 left here in the second. 23 shots for the Flyers. 14 for the Jackets.
Vote up to 10 times per day by visiting NHL.com/VoteCBJ.
Boone Jenner, Claude Giroux set for the faceoff to the left of Sergei Bobrovsky.
Communication everywhere there. Jake Voracek, Claude Giroux getting the last-minute words in as we take a look at Sergei Bobrovsky. He's watching them talk. They're trying to see what they'll do off this faceoff.
Voracek. Jenner defends. Cross ice Grossman. Grossman shot sails wide. Voracek one-hands it off that backboard. Trying to throw it in the slot, but Hartnell is there to intercept, and the Jackets are out of his own as Atkinson. On there to Hartnell. Rolling puck. Picked up there by Hartnell and handed here to Boone Jenner. Jenner up high, Connaughton. Chased by Voracek. Kevin Connaughton. Fired on waivers by the Jackets. Throws it in front. A scramble there. And the shot by Hartnell trickled wide.
That got blocked in front. Great play by Connaughton just to get it towards the blue paint.
Connaughton now. He's got a pretty good shot. This one a wrist shot off the blocker from a sharp angle thrown in front again. The Jackets cannot redirect. Giroux with Braden Schenn and Voracek, who plays it on the right wing, throws it in front. Jackets defend. Bobrovsky down on his knees, gets back up as the Jackets are able to walk it out of the zone. And here's Atkinson stepping to center over the stick of Coburn, dumped deep into Philadelphia territory, and the Jackets will change up here on the fly.
Good response there from the Columbus Blue Jackets. That line of Atkinson, Jenner, and Hartnell came out with a good, strong shift. Connaughton throwing the puck into the blue paint and causing some chaos in front of Steve Mason.
Todd Richards comes back with the 4th line now. Adam Crackner, Gibbons, and Bull. Trout in the corner behind the net. Umberger knocked down. R.J. Umberger 3 points on the season. Flyers looking for a little more. Number 18. Back for second tour of duty. with this Philadelphia Hockey Club. Alan Cracknell dumps it right to the ice, and it is icing.
And that icing, boy, that was close to the line. Looked like Adam Cracknell got there, but the linesman very picky on this one. Hope he stays this picky all night, because Adam Cracknell has the puck right here. And look how close he is to that red line. I mean, he might have been a foot. All right, if they're going to be that picky as a player, you're like, okay, call it there, but you better be calling it that way all night.
You could see Cracknell on that video replay actually looking over his shoulder as well, saying, what are you talking about? I got there. So he was with you.
No harm. They got the puck. No, they're going to do it again, but good face-off win, good play by this line. Come back 200 feet. Do it again.
Jackets with but 4 shots this period. 14 for the Flyers. A number of their shots coming on the power play. Total of 6 of the 14 during the second period. And virtually the extra net.
Sergei makes that save there. He got bumped by Couturier right in front, but he's had to battle quite a bit here tonight to see the pucks, fight through screens to see pucks make those saves. Michael Del Zotto here heads up play. Look at that. He can't even see Sergei's face mask. He's completely smothered by both players in front, but positionally sound makes that save.
Interesting forward line here employed by Coach Richards. He's got Anisimov, Foligno, and Matt Calvert. Calvert thrown to the boards there by Coburn. Coach Richards looking for a little offense here right now, but right now it is Philadelphia peppering Bobrovsky with the shots.
Quick pass from Voracek, who received the puck from Giroux, and he went immediately to Schultz. And that's a cross-ice play. As Sergei keeps the puck out of the net. Look at that. Schultz had to hesitate a little bit, but Sergei catches that in the middle of the chest.
Johansson will step in here against Giroux. He is one of the few centermen, and he wins another draw is Johansson to beat Giroux here tonight, who has been on fire. Johansson sends it in. Mason out of the net. Plays it off the wall. Voracek waits on the right wing. Jake Voracek looks cross ice. Picked up there by Braden Shen. Deflected and then batted out of the air by Bobrovsky himself. Giroux hit along the wall. Voracek looks to the point. Up high. Braden Shen gets a stick on it. And Bobrovsky to stop.
Not a lot of tight shots inside from Philadelphia, but Columbus seems just a little bit off here as they're trying to get something going. We're seeing a mixture of different lines here, Jeff. You got Hartnell now with Skilly and Wenberg trying to mix it up. Got to get something going because he's not seeing a lot of skating and execution, even with passes from his Blue Jackets, who've gone down 3-1 here in the second period.
Wenberg chased from the circle. Skilly will step in. The draw won by Couturier. Less than a minute to go here in the second. Simmons sends it towards the net. The Jackets collapse in front of Bobrovsky, able to block it. Wenberg left there for Connaughton. He overskates it. Played by Wisniewski. And now under control, it's on to Connaughton at the left side. Connaughton squeezed out along the boards. Strike moves cross ice. Grossman for Strike. 35 seconds left. The Flyers will backhand it deep in the zone. Couturier. Simmons is tied up. Turned around on the play there by Connaughton. From the corner, thrown into the slot. Skilly is there to keep it away from Reed. One-hander to the line and out before Grossman drives it right back in. 20 seconds left. Picked up here, up high. Couturier drops it back. Shot. Steered off into the corner by Bobrovsky. 10 seconds remain. Flyers have pretty well had their way here in the second period.
Yeah, the Jackets got to go in the room here, Jeff, and regroup and come out and take it to these Flyers. They can get back in the game here. They just got to get back to simple execution. But get ready for a third period.
One goal here in the second period, and that was a power play goal by Simmons. After 40 minutes of play here in Philadelphia, it's the Flyers 3, the Blue Jackets 1. Dave Betzel will have a guest when we come back to the Wells Fargo Center here in Philadelphia. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. The best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle, right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. Back here in the building, Wells Fargo Center. Flyers lead 3-1. And now, here's tonight's AT&T Rewind. And for that, we head to Long Island, where the New York Islanders are hosting the Penguins in the back end of their home-and-home series. We pick up the action of the 16-minute mark, scoreless of period 1.
And there's Malkin. Great individual effort. You see it just trickles by Halak. Pittsburgh strikes first. But watch this goal. Scramble in front. It is mayhem down there. Matt Martin, he makes it 1-1. That's where it is after 2 periods. Wow. Long Island, they are for real.
Now they won the first of the home-and-home series in Pittsburgh, trying to win this one at home for a sweep. 3-1 here. Jackets outshot 18-4 in the second period. 6 of those 18 shots, a third of them, coming on the power play. 29-15 advantage through 40 minutes.
I was just going to mention about that AT&T Rewind. Islanders-Pittsburgh Metropolitan Division matchup. If the Islanders win, they are tied for first. And that's in this division.
Incredible. I think in terms of those 2 defensemen they picked up just prior to the start of the season and their impact on the hockey club. Here's Atkinson speaking with an impact. Oh boy, Strike gets an arm around him. The referee is right there looking at it. No call. Out of the zone. Jack Johnson. What do the Jackets need to do here in these early moments of the third here to get back in this one, Jody?
Well, you heard from Scott Hartnell in between periods, and he wants to get the guys, the feet moving and execute. You got to execute. Those are the little things. They look like they're a little tired in that second period, but I think it was just sloppy play slowed them down a little bit. Get those passes on, get up the ice, and get in there on Steve Mason, who's only faced 15 shots.
Well, their best part of this hockey game was the second half of the opening period of play. Flyers pretty well controlled things in the second. Jackets took their first penalties in the hockey game in that second period. One of your keys here tonight, Coyote keys, was to continue to show that discipline.
Yeah, that cost them. But it's just a little momentum. They're down by 2, but I tell you what, they haven't played their best hockey yet tonight, so.
Loose puck behind the net.
Offensive zone time is key here for the Blue Jackets. You can draw penalties in the offensive zone, create some momentum, get 1, get 2. That's the mentality for these guys coming into the third period.
How about Lindbergh taking his shift here with Gendrick and Foligno at the line? Matt Calvert.
I talked to him the other day, Wenberg. The only player he hasn't played with on the Columbus Blue Jackets forward squad is Ryan Johansson. Play with everyone.
Cavalier headbands that puck. Got to pull the trigger. Quick shot there by Lawton. Bobrovsky was sharp. Heading up ice, this is Jack Skillet with Matt Calvert. Throws it across the goal mouth and scores! Matt Calvert, welcome back. His second game, and he takes that goal mouth pass and puts it by Mason. The all-important goal here in the early moments of this third period gets the Jackets right back in it.
Wow, what a play there by Jack Skillet. He took it all the way down the ice. And he made a beautiful pass to Matt Calvert. Matt Calvert, you know what he did? He put his head down and drove between the defense. And watch this. Skillet is skating up the wall. But watch Calvert. He goes between the defensemen. He's now made that defenseman make a decision. You see Luke Schenn there locked up with him. Calvert beats him, stick on the ice. Perfect pass by Jack Skillet. That's how you want to start the third period for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Calvert with his second goal of the season. And the Jackets are right back in it, despite being outshot almost by a 2-1 margin.
And you saw Steve Mason swipe at that puck as it went past him to Matt Calvert, and that took him a little bit out of position. He didn't worry about the far post. He thought about intercepting the pass. Calvert, great effort on that goal.
Jackets have got to keep skating here. Got to cut the deficit to 1.
Watch here, watch. Mason, he takes a swipe at it with his stick. trusting his defenseman was going to have that player, but brings a little life under the bench of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Claude Giroux double shifted out here now with Bellemare and Ronaldo. But the Jackets are called for icing. And with the whistle, let's get a look at tonight's AEP power play summary. Both teams 1 for 3 tonight.
Very similar. It was a 5-on-3 that just expired for the Philadelphia Flyers, who cashed in Wayne Simmons with that goal-mouth attack.
Giroux wins yet another draw. Jake Voracek circling the net. Trout chases. Thrown up high here to Grossman. He's pressured. And on the turnover, it's Atkinson. Atkinson lets one fly. Mason the stop. And he'll cover up as the puck trickled out of the glove and onto the ice. And he's able to get the whistle.
Atkinson with his wheels gets him going. I like the decision he makes here, though. He's got to settle the puck down. Great interception, great anticipation. Then he gets going here. Now watch this here. McDonald's coming over to close in on him. Well, that's Streit. And there it's just a good heads up. Got the puck to the net before Streit was able to get a stick there. He knew Hartnell was going in there, but also get the puck in there. You never know what's going to bounce off Steve Mason.
Left wing. Stepping up. Long shot. Bobrovsky makes it. Tried to cover up. Lost his goal stick. Couturier sends it up high. Traffic in front. Simmons trying to set the screen. Thrown from the point. A shot and a goal. Coburn. Bobrovsky without the stick. 4-2.
Let's look at the goal here. This is the play here. Couturier kind of knocks the stick out of Bobrovsky's hand. Now he's got to get refocused, reset. He's following the play. Good look at it here as it comes in. He's not set. You can see he's got no stick to cover up that 5-hole. It got knocked out of his hands as Couturier just kind of clipped him, and that really helps the Flyers with that low shot on net.
Coburn
screen
with his first goal and first point. 4-2. Flyers. And now the Jackets. Going to get some pressure on Wisniewski. Floats one in. Calvert got a stick on it, but it trickled wide of the net. Lawton off the wall. Picked up here by R.J. Umberger. Umberger defended by Connaughton off the side of the net. Wenberg will play it. The Cavalier is right there. Kick back here to Connaughton. James Wisniewski to play. Reed and Schultz draw the assists on the goal by Coburn. As we mentioned, his first goal and first point of the season.
Yeah, he was injured for a lot of the start of the season. First game he got injured. Missed a big chunk, and he's had a tough time getting his footing coming back.
Walking in, Adam Cracknell sends it wide. It glanced off the pad there of Mason. From the right wing boards, Bull tries to throw it in front. Race for the puck here. Jake Voracek, but neatly played by Dalton Prout off the wall and out of the zone. Braden Shen will rifle it right back in as we approach the 5-minute mark of this third period. Jake Voracek on the right wing boards. He saw Prout coming, took his eyes off the play, and Prout got a piece of him, and Voracek not able to play it.
Now, the puck was behind Voracek, so Prout, instead of playing the puck, took the chance to run Jake over. Why not?
Jake saw him coming. And it's an easy mark. Taking the hit there from Ronaldo. Jackets outlet on the right side for Atkinson. Work wide. Leopold almost deposited onto the Flyer bench. He goes back at Ronaldo, taking exception to the hit. Savard. This is Nick Schultz. Circles the net. 5 minutes plus gone in the third. The teams trade goals a minute 12 apart.
Yeah, that was a quick
for the Jackets and Coburn for the Flyers.
Sorry, Jeff. Quick response from the Flyers on that last goal where Sergei Bobrovsky lost his stick. And they wisely put one along the ice, and he was not happy with himself, Sergei, on that play.
Ryan Johansson. 4 assists the last time these two teams played. A week ago last night. Quiet game for Johansson tonight.
You know, the Jackets only have 17 shots here on net. They got to stay with their game plan. Get down on Steve Mason. That you mentioned earlier, he's had a tough time with that puck.
Oh, Bobrovsky was collided in with by Couturier. The referee goes over, doesn't make a call here. Just make sure that Bobrovsky's all right.
Connaughton's got Couturier at center ice. He's seen enough of Couturier bumping into Bobrovsky.
Couturier's stick breaks there. He kicks it back for Grossman. And he'll now head off.
That was a pretty big collision as Lawton goes back after Connaughton.
We're going to look at it here. There's a stoppage in play.
And he wiped Bobrovsky right out.
The referee was watching. Came over to Bobrovsky again to make sure he was all right, and no penalty call.
The third time that Couturier has bumped into Bobrovsky here tonight.
Skilly. Far side. Back for Jack Johnson. Right. Gets there ahead of Wenberg. Up on that left wing. LeCavalier. Trout steps up on him. Grossman tosses to the far side. Strike. Off the wall and out. Jackets. Third Bull. Stepping into the Flyer player. Holds him off. That's Ronaldo, I believe, on the far side of the ice.
That's Schenn. Now they're out against that top line of Schenn, Voracek, and Giroux.
Rink wide. Bull will play it at center. Third Bull. High off the glass. Mason. Left by Giroux. In the near corner. Braden Schenn tied up by Bull again, this time on the opposite side. Giroux drops it back. Coburn, who has a fourth goal for Philadelphia, will backhand one in on Bobrovsky, who plays it and hangs on. One more look at the collision between Couturier and Bobrovsky.
Back at the Wells Fargo Center, where Flyers lead the Jackets 4-2. And that man, we saw the collision here. Couturier just simply loses his edge and goes into Sergei. It goes right over. And there's Connaughton. He's hearing from the ref. The ref said he just lost his edge. You can tell here. And Connaughton said, well, you can see, read his lips. He said, I just saw the collision. Now, he's just standing up for his goaltender who got ran there. As Connaughton addressed Couturier at center ice for 4 or 5 seconds. But good catch there by guys in the truck to see the refs going over to talk to Connaughton. And I like that the ref did not make the call. He understood what Connaughton was doing. He wasn't affecting the play, but he was addressing what he thought he had. And then the ref respectfully went over and said, hey, you know, when you did that, it was just losing his edge, and he didn't mean to hit Sergei.
Good point, Jody. And let's be honest, for the most part here, the officials have let the players play in this game.
Yeah, last night, too, I really thought that was great. If you're going to let them play all night. And it's fun to watch guys get away with some stuff out there.
Atkinson off the blocker of Mason. Cruising through there is Scotty Hartnell, who perhaps was Mason's best friend here last season. And since Mason arrived from the Jackets. Friendships have been left at the door tonight, though.
Yeah, Scotty'd like to put a few past him here as we almost were at the 9-minute mark of the third period.
Jackets need something quickly here. There's Simmons. Starts out of his own zone. Gains some steam. Crosses the line. Chips it by the Jackets defender. Battle ensues here in the corner. Reed one-handed ahead. Knocked out of the air there by Leopold. Played by Reed. Up high. Schultz. Rims it around the wall. Up on the far side. That's Couturier. You know, one of your former teammates, Michael Delzato, he's been used pretty well exclusively on the power play. I haven't seen him. 7 defensemen dressed by Coach Greg Berube tonight. But not much from Delzato other than perhaps some power play time for the most part.
That's interesting. I mean, that's the luxury of having 7D, and he's coming back from an injury. So a nice way to get him back in the lineup. He's very effective on the power play. Very offensive-minded defenseman. It's almost like having 4 forwards out there for Greg Berube on that second unit.
Delzato scored a goal just at the conclusion of a Jacket penalty the other night when we were here a week ago Friday. Calvert knocked down, Flyers clear. This one will be icing.
After every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game and talks to the players and the coaches on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy, take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll at IGSenergy.com.
10 minutes into the third period here, and there's the man that scored the goal to start the period. The Flyers since responded. Not very long. It didn't take them very long, but we'd like to see Columbus to get back down in the offensive zone, Jeff, and start peppering Steve Mason. They're having a tough time just getting pucks out, getting through the neutral zone.
Jackets getting a little sloppy in their own end there. The bouncing puck almost to Giroux. He had a free shot at Bobrovsky. The puck bounced away. Ruby must be listening to us because he's got Del Zotto now out there at even strength.
Well, it's a 7-man rotation, too. If you think about it, you're not going to see him. He's probably going to skip a shift here and there. So
Del Zotto joins the rush. Steers it ahead, and he'll head off. We've passed the midway point of this third period. Wisniewski hitting Gibbons. On for Jared Bull. A wrist shot and gloved by Mason. How about the PNC game summary, Jody?
Well, let's take a look here. We know the faceoffs are heavy in the Philadelphia Flyers' favor. I actually talked to the guy who's counting faceoffs over here. I said, boy, that looks like a homer number to me. He said, no, that's the way it is tonight. Blue Jackets want to step up there. Shots on goal, we knew that. We talked about it. And then penalty minutes even.
We'll step aside with 9:11 left. 4-2 Philadelphia. Face off to the right of Mason. Alexander Wenberg will take the draw. Claude Giroux, Flyers captain, in the circle, and he wins it cleanly. R.J. Umberger looking for the handle. Giroux takes the face-off and then heads to the bench. Cavalier comes on for Giroux after the draw was won by that Flyers captain. Albert tried to chop it towards the net. Here's Skilly. Skilly along the wall. Shovels it back to Wisniewski. On for Connaughton.
That's
around the boards.
Puck was rolling there. Connaughton couldn't settle it down. He just had to get rid of it. That's why the Jackets haven't been able to set up here.
Grossman flips ahead. Umberger in pursuit. Connaughton with the defensive play. Jackets a clearing pass for Wenberg. Fails to get there. And Nick Schultz will scoop it up. Jackets change up as play continues. 8:15 left here in the third. Off the skate. Foligno on the turnover. Looking for Boone Jenner. Foligno tried to send it home on the far side. The net displaced but not dislodged, so play continues. Jenner now on the wing. Throws it in front. Off Hartnell. Foligno's dropped to the ice. Aiden Shen clearing pass. Giroux in pursuit. Savard will get there, but it's called. 7:53 left. And how about the Ohio Health great save?
Well, go back to the first period. There's Sergei Bobrovsky on Jake Voracek. Backhanded save. You see Matty Calvert push it back into Sergei. Say, hey, let's take the whistle and change here. Jake Voracek's been all around the puck tonight. Really noticeable on that power play with Giroux and Simmons. I can't believe all the communication between Giroux and his defensemen and his wingers. Constant conversation here with Nick Foligno switching down with Savard on that faceoff. They wanted to make sure their assignments were all set.
Nick Schultz, top of the circle, sends it towards the net, sticked aside by Bobrovsky. Toss to the point, Voracek. Overskates it briefly, able to recover Jenner, draped all over him. There's Braden Shen on to Voracek. Voracek sweeps it back, and Schultz unable to keep it in. Flyers will clear the zone. Foligno steps in to the Flyers defenseman. Far side of the ice, Jenner. Ahead here for Hartnell. And Foligno will backhand it below the goal line.
This line reunited here.
Jenner spins and turns as he falls to the ice, gets it right on Mason. Jackets throw it in front. Cam Atkinson deals to the point. Jack Johnson wide of the net. Atkinson, Schultz defends. Atkinson walks out, puck rolls off his stick. Here's Simmons away. Simmons with a power play goal tonight onto Couturier. Jack Johnson defends. Couturier fights it off. Atkinson with the intercept. And the pass ahead for Gibbons, cut off by Del Zotto and ripped high and wide to the net.
Gibbons is skating away, looking for that puck a little quicker.
Gibbons now. Hit here for Atkinson. Atkinson pulls the trigger and is fought off by Mason. Right back to Atkinson. Tossed behind the net. Anisimov, who had his stick held there briefly by McDonald, the two battle along the far wall. Simmons is there. Gibbons giving up some size, but not giving up. And he wins that battle, albeit briefly, before Couturier is able to clear.
You see 3 Flyers there in that battle, only 2 Blue Jackets. Tough to win that when you're outnumbered.
Artem Anisimov. Pass knocked down and played by Reed. Little more than 6 minutes left here in the third. That's Del Zotto. Our side of the ice. Set up the middle. Lawton on the backhand. A hit here for LeCavalier with Umberger. LeCavalier walks it back up high. Hangs onto the puck. Still with it. Vinny LeCavalier will drop it back and Grossman will let one fly. Lawton is camped right in front. Off Bobrovsky and quickly the Jackets head up ice. A shot from the wing and it sails wide off the stick of Matt Calvert. Wisniewski was dropped by Lawton, much to the delight of the crowd here.
Wisniewski lobbying with the ref for a call.
Still talking to him as play continues. Ronaldo dances away from Matt Calvert. Johansson tried to get a stick on it. Johansson not really skating well here tonight. And he will
he's at the end of a shift here right now. And
hasn't had the wheels that we've seen from Johansson. Last night, I think he was skating much more effectively.
Back-to-back night. Sometimes catches up with some of these guys, but you think in these situations, short, hard shifts, get out there, roll off. We don't know what's going on down there.
Left wing. Schenn. On to Wenberg. Wenberg dumps it back in. And played there by Schultz. Hole. Giroux can't clear. Wenberg along the board. Wenberg walks it off the wall. Here, Leopold. That's off the mask of Mason. Right off the mask. Coburn steps out. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left. Flips ahead here for Simmons. Savard steps up. Simmons in pursuit, played by Jordan Leopold on to Foligno, who settles it down. Chipped off the wall, hits the official in the back, and it's flipped back here to McDonald. Flyers backhand one in, wide of the Jackets net. Savard keeping it away from Reed. Airing pass at center. Moved by Hartnell for Foligno. Jenner trails. Foligno along the board. Foligno trying to dance away. Del Zotto defends. Simmons now, late in the shift for him. Heads up. Waiting on the wing is Reed. Flipped wide of the Jackets net. Played by Couturier. Jack Johnson is there. Hartnell up to the loose puck and down the left side. Looks here for Foligno. Nick Foligno steps to center. Tied up there by LeCavalier, and it's Jenner who shovels in deep. And it's played by Strike as he takes it from Mason. Pass on the left side. Knocked down out of the air, moving in, LeCavalier, and the Jackets do some caretaking in front of Bobrovsky. At center, it's Grossman. Onto the far side for Strite, who backhands it by Jack Johnson. No icing here, and it's played by Dalton Prout as we approach the 17-minute mark of this third period.
We're still not seeing passes connect, Jeff. You want to see those passes connect a little better by the Blue Jackets and get down and get in that zone, but seems to be rolling off stick, just not sharp and on the same page in a lot of these situations.
Not crisp here at all. Connaughton, 2:40 left. We'll look here as Bobrovsky likely will make his way out of the net for an extra attacker. He's looking over at the bench as the Jackets gain the offensive zone. A quick shot there by Skilly. Coburn gets it ahead for Jake Voracek. Back for Braden Coburn. Comes in off the wing, and Bobrovsky makes the stop. Jackets have got to get some sustained action in Philadelphia territory, enabling Bobrovsky to come out. Again, he looks at the bench.
Yeah, that last rush for Philadelphia was off a blocked shot by Michael Del Zotto. They immediately transitioned into offense in a partial break.
Leopold, Wenberg, out to the hash mark, and now retreating back into the net is Bobrovsky. Giroux sends it deep. David Savard now. Less than 2 minutes remaining. Savard off the wall, and play has been whistled out. 1:49 left. All rights of this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public or other unauthorized use of the broadcast without the express written consent of the Columbus Blue Jackets is expressly prohibited.
You got Johansson out there with Foligno and Hartnell now. You get into that critical point of the game where, as you mentioned, Sergei could be heading to the bench. You've got to have time in the offensive zone for him to be able to do that.
Savard. Leopold for Johansson. That pass failed to click, and Grossman, Cateno just dumping it in. That's what the Flyers want. They do not want Bobrovsky to make his way out of the net. A 2-goal lead here with 1:20 left. Nick Foligno reaching for it. Grossman off the boards to center. Reed steps up on Savard. Couturier sends it in. So the Flyers, who coming into tonight's game had lost 4 in a row, 2 straight on home ice. Bobrovsky finally able to make his way out of the net. Less than a minute to go. Ryan Johansson, 6 skaters on for the Jackets. Jenner behind the net. Foligno camped in front. Up high, Jack Johnson for Dalton Prout. His shot is blocked. Picked up there by Jake Voracek. Working in neutral ice is Braden Shen. Giroux tries to get a stick on it. The Jackets flip it up and into Philadelphia territory, where the Flyers are quick to clear. Dalton Prout on here for Foligno. Off the wall. Flyers able to get it out. The Jackets must clear the zone as they flip it back in deep. 22 seconds left. Off the boards. Played there by Braden Shen. Shen rink wide. Puck settled down. Calvert reaching for it. Delayed penalty up called, and it's going to be an interference penalty here. Jackets all looking around. Who's the call on?
Columbus penalty number 71, 2 minutes interference.
Interference to call.
71 was on the bench here. As we look at the big lots, big play. And that was a 3-1 goal by Wayne Simmons. You see right here, puck was up in the air. No one really knew where it was. Sergei's pretty deep in his net, standing up. Wayne Simmons quickly jammed it in there.
Final seconds tick off. Jackets a man short. Interference to call on Foligno with 14 seconds left. 4th power play for the Flyers, who will see a 4-game losing streak come to an end tonight with a 4-2 victory over the Blue Jackets. Claude Giroux and the Flyers victorious. The Jackets' winless streak extended to 3 games. Now 2-2-1 in their last 5.